as May passing by, I get a note slipped under my door. Oh, by the way, me and so are moving out. So I'm like, wait, hold on. We just had a discussion that we weren't gonna move to our. Welcome back to my channel, loves. This is Anjanae Love, and I am going to be doing another story time today for you guys. And this story time is a little petty, little, what should I say? Nah, it was petty because partially it was my fault. And like I said in my other story time that I was going to tell you, the story time of how I ended up losing my best friend. So let's get into this video. Well, first I'm going to tell you how I met the girl, and then we'll get into like the whole how basically are not friends anymore. So I had just, what was it, started my my first semester back from going to Cal Baptist University, and I had met this girl, and I'm not gonna name no names because, you know, she doesn't bring me up, I don't bring her up. This is just for me to tell you guys. So we had met this girl. I mutually met her through one of my other really good friends, and we just like totally like just gravitated toward each other. So we were hanging out like, what I mean, like two peas in a pod, like two peas in a pod. Like, you would have thought that we would have known each other for, man, like ages because our friendship chemistry was like crazy. Like, it was like no doubting like how good. I'm drinking wine, and I'm sorry, and I found this bottle when I was at Smart and Final, so I'm like trying it out. Maybe I should just try it out with a cup by itself, but like, I don't know. But it says this, by the way, it's not sponsored, but it says that it has like 5% rosé wine in it, and I love rosé. Like, I could drink a whole bottle of rosé, like crazy. But anyways, yeah. So you would have thought that we were like two pizzas in pod. Like, we were like crazy close. So like, as we started to hang out, we end up getting a job together, going to work together every morning. Then we're like, man, we really don't want to live on campus anymore. And we were just deciding we didn't want to live on campus. And I was just like, yeah, I want to get an apartment. Let's get an apartment together. So while we're doing this, everything is good. We're still best friends. We're hanging out all the time. Me and her had like our little, I want to say like little language, but like we would discuss certain things and like we knew, let alone, no, we just knew. So when we went to go get our apartment, everything was cool. Everything was going A1. Like, you wouldn't have thought anything would have happened. Like, we were just like really cool. Everything went really smooth when we got our apartment. Man, our apartment was a banging. Like, when I tell you, like, I mean, it was my first apartment. I've never like lived by myself. I've always lived. Well, I've never got in a place by myself in my name with somebody else. So it was just like an experience of like grown up. But I actually liked being grown up. But anyways, we got our apartment. And everything is good. We're living together. I would come to her room. She would come to my room. We would talk. We would cry together. We would eat together. We would go grocery shopping together. Um, Everything was just going like perfectly fine. And then it was just like things just started to transpire that I was doing petty shit. She was doing petty shit. Like, there would be like things like, um, I know for me, I'm not gonna speak for her, but I'm speaking for me. Like, I would purposely play loud music on purpose just so I would be like, uh, and like I would purposely play loud music just to ignore them, just so because I didn't have to, like be around her, or I would ignore her. I would like walk into the house. I wouldn't say shit to her. Um, I would be mean mugging her, all this shit. But when I really look at it, I'm a very territorial friend, and I'm the type of girl that, like, I feel like if somebody is getting in the way of my friendship, I just kind of like back up. I don't really say too much. I don't really do too much. I just become in my own bubble, and that's something that is really my problem that I'm dealing with. But it's just crazy to me because it was just like, what's going on? So we had a discussion one night. She was just like, I really feel like our friendship is changing. And may I remind you, this is 2 months in living with each other. We have not, like, I think that we had this conversation with like 2 months of us living with each other. Like, our friendship was changing. But my thing was just like, bitch, like you moved your fucking boyfriend in the fucking apartment and we didn't discuss having no niggas in our apartment because me, I'm a girl. I like to walk around with booty shorts on, a bra, sometimes no bra, like, and I'm living with my best friend and it's just like, what's going on here? Like, I can't even do that because we got another nigga here, so I gotta be mindful and courteous to her because her nigga's here. Okay, a couple of nights is cool here and there, but like, fucking every day? Like, come on now. Like, really. Like, it just, sometimes it would just mind boggle me because it would just be like, bitch, we discussed, like, no niggas moving in. If niggas are gonna move in, then they need to be put on the lease. They need to be put on the lease because, yes, I was making a good amount of money, but there's other people that are living in a house. And if you are the only one paying rent, why is he living up under you free? But I missed I was thinking that in my head. I was just misjudging the situation because I didn't take the time out to really talk to her at all because I was being selfish and I was caught up in my emotions. And me, I'm the type of person in my friendship, if I don't like something, I shut down. I don't tell people how I feel, and I just I just go about my business. Like, I erase people out of my life like it's nothing, and I'm learn but yeah, so I just seen a lot of shit. So 2 months into us living together, she came into my room and she was just like, I feel like our friendship is changing. And I was like, yeah, it is changing because we had discussed that no niggas are supposed to be living here. This is supposed to be our like lady cave. Like, this is just supposed to be where we escape. Like, we're coming back from school, like where we're supposed to hang out. Like, and I just feel like my best friend isn't my best friend anymore. And it's like it it made me kind of like sad because it was just like, damn, like, Mariah, you're ruining another friendship. So it was just like, okay, apologize, get through it. Tell her it was nothing, like, nothing serious. Like, it was something that we could, it was just a rough patch that we went through. But it was like our first friendship fight in a way, because we never fought. Like, we never had any disagreements. We never did any of that. So it was just like one of those things to we're just like, okay. But it's okay, so we got through it or whatever. And months pass by, everything is good, all good and dandy. It's about, I would say like March, April, things would just transpire. Like, rent was being due late, um, getting like freaking eviction notices, and I've never experienced like shit like that ever in my life. So it was just like, what's going on? Like, I was concerned with my comfortability. Like, I should feel like, man, I need to have somewhere to stay, because I was just like, this is my first time living by myself, but also living with somebody that I genuinely care about, that was my friend. And I just thought like we had an agreement that if we couldn't make up rent, that we were gonna find a way to get it. Like, that's just what it was. So it just got to a point where I was just getting fed up. It was always an excuse. It was always something. I'm not gonna say that, I wasn't part of the problem, but it was just certain things that were just building up to where I just started to just be petty as fuck. Like, I used to just say shit under my breath. I would, like I was doing before, like we had a conversation, and then one day, I think it was in like June or whatever, June, July or whatever, and was it June or July? I'm trying to think. No, it was. What's before June? May. May. We were talking about possibly moving, but we were gonna move after the lease was up, right? And find our own places. So that's what we were talking about, because at the time she had a boyfriend and she was madly in love with her boyfriend. No harm, no foul. I was single. I wasn't in a relationship, so there was nothing for me to hold on to. There was nothing for me to do. So I was just like, cool, like, we move on with our lives. We get we get a different apartment, and we remain friends. Like, that's just what the conversation was about. Then it got, as May passing by, I get a note slipped under my door. Oh, by the way, me and so are moving out. So I'm like, wait, hold on. We just had a discussion that we weren't gonna move to our lease. Let me tell you, our lease wasn't up till December. So we still had hella time. Like, hella time. Like, it just certain things was just pissing me off. Like, so I just got to a point where I wrote a note back, and I was just like, no, that's not right. So you're going to be paying up because your name is on the lease until I find a roommate. Because I'm not going to be in a situation where I have to pay rent by myself, and I didn't go into this lease by myself at the end of the day. So she was just like, no, like, you have time to she wrote me a note, like, you have time to find a roommate, do what you got to do, but I'm moving out. So it's just like, okay, well, I don't want to get evicted. I could pay the rent by myself, but where I was living, rent was not cheap. Rent was not cheap. And I needed extra money for my leisure, for me to do stuff, for me to go out, for me to go eat, for me to buy groceries. I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. I was good enough to where when I was splitting rent for somebody, I had extra money left over. And that's what pissed me off. So, this brings like so many like emotions and shit, because I feel like if we would have kept good communication with each other, and we would have talked to each other, oh god, that's strong. But If we would have talked to each other, then everything would have been like good. I believe that's just me. But because I'm basically placing the blame on myself of why me and her are no longer friends because I felt betrayed by her, and at the point I only seen it through my eyes. I didn't see it through her eyes, and I didn't take the time out to see what was going on with her and everything because we were genuinely like best friends. Like we did everything together. Like and it just kind of makes me sad that it ended that way because it was just like Mariah, you didn't have to be so nasty to her. You didn't have to be so like mean to her because at the end of the day, she really wasn't disrespecting me. Like, think about it. She wasn't disrespecting me. She didn't call me out my name. She didn't do any of that. It was just because I felt like I made up a story in my own head that she was doing shit to me that I needed to retaliate back to her instead of being an adult and talking to her. May I remind you, I'm like, whew, how old was I? I was 21 when I got my first apartment. So it was just, it was a learning lesson. It was a growing lesson for me. I know now that I can never no longer live with anybody because I like shit a certain way. And I want to be able to feel comfortable and be able to feel free in my environment. And I can't do it living with somebody else unless it's my actual significant other. And that's just what it is. Just living with friends, man, if your parents tell you don't roommate with your friends and y'all know y'all man and y'all know for sure, please don't do it because that really kills friendships and it really really messes people up. Like for real messes people up. Like who is crazy? Like I almost want to cry because it's just like I have reevaluated myself and I have really have grown as a person because I was such a nasty bitch. Like I was just mean, I was cruel, I was like a lot of stuff. Like it just kind of crazy. It just I don't know. It just I kind of believe that things happen for a reason to show you that you can't move too fast. You can't grow up too fast. 'Cause that was my thing. I grew up too fast, and I put myself in situations where I could have handled them the right way, but I didn't handle it the right way because I was very immature in some instance. So that's just a learning lesson. This is like more like a story time, but it was more like a teaching lesson for myself. Like, bitch, don't ever room with your motherfucking friends. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. And it's so funny. This is just my last note. It's so funny because I have this cool ass homegirl. Like, she was just like, are you sure? And she kept asking me. And she was like, bitch, are you sure that you want to do this? And I just be like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I'm ready to get this apartment. It's like good for the both of us. Everything. But hey, everything happens for a reason. And I want you guys to know that um I've learned and I've lived, but I'm not done living and I'm not done learning and I am ready to continue this journey and I just feel free after telling this story time. Is that kind of crazy? But I am going to be putting out more bangers for you guys. I am going to continue with my story times since I have like hella stories. I feel as though I have a story time of me having sexual relations in the library, but I don't know if I should. I'm gonna edit that out. No, I don't know. I don't know if I should tell that, but I just have another story time where I got really drunk and things happen. I'm not proud of that. But I have a lot of story times that I want to tell you guys, and I am ready for this journey. I am excited. YouTube is just kind of like my outlet, and it's just somewhere I feel free to talk. I mean, I might not have a lot of subscribers right now, but hopefully I gain more as the time goes. I just really need to be persistent because I have good quality videos. It's just that my persistence is lacking and I need to get it together. But I am, and I promise I am gonna get it together. I just if you see me looking at something, it's just me looking at my nails because they keep like shining or whatever, if you see it in the video. But remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I love you guys. Bye.
Okay, Vegas like Marine Land, that big whale treatment. Georgie got me up 100,000 for the weekend. I gotta move to stay beside the bed when I be sleeping. My mood is changing this summer, I'ma be tweaking.